So I'm going to talk about actually researching and implementing a CRM from the point of view of a small not-for-profit, which is us, Australian Scholarships Foundation. So in 20 minutes, I will talk a little bit about what we do so you understand why we needed a CRM and why we went that route. And I will also go through the problems that we faced, the challenges, the solution that we found, and the results of the implementation, post-implementation. So I love this quote: "To make the greatest impact on society requires first and foremost a great organization, not a single great program." And that's by Jim Collins, who wrote an excellent book, Good to Great, if you haven't, for the social sector, if you haven't come across that. And really, that's what ASF is all about. We are about helping not-for-profit organizations become more efficient and effective, but I'll get to that in a second. I mean, you guys already know a lot of these stats, and some of this information I've actually pinched from the Connecting Up report that was just released, that you might have had a copy of this morning. But we probably know a lot of these stats, $41 billion generated. And quite frankly, most not-for-profits just simply do not have the funds or the budget to train their staff and to give their staff proper professional development. And most funders, a lot of them will not fund that either. So it becomes very difficult. And it was interesting in that study, in that paper that Connecting Up put out, over 50% of not-for-profit organizations spend less than $4,000 per annum on training, you know. So it's quite bad, you know. And I come across a lot of people that have worked in the sector for 10 or 20 years, and they've had little or no professional development. And so it is a significant problem. And again, I have pinched this wonderful graphic. It's so good from the report, but you know, they talk about it in terms of digital literacy equaling increased productivity, therefore equaling increased social impact. And we all benefit with better social impact because we're all affected by, you know, all Australians are affected by the not-for-profit organizations at some point in their lives, whether we know it or not. So we're about training and development opportunities in the form of scholarships. That's our mission, to strengthen the overall effectiveness of not-for-profits through these opportunities. So who we are, we have been around for about 4 years now. We're the only organization that we know of that do what we do, not only in Australia but in the world. If anyone comes across another one like us, please tell us. We've been trying to find one. But we act as a circuit breaker. And, you know, so we work with education providers and universities. We have 22 partners at the moment, and private organizations. And to date, we've facilitated about over 900 scholarships, and everything from short executive training, management training, leadership, human resources, IT, you know, all the way, and you know, up to postgraduate master's programs. So, and we have a very unique funding model in that we don't ever go and pay, you know, retail for anything. We advocate on behalf of the sector and get places and courses for either, you know, very substantial fee reduction or complete, you know, no cost at all. So from our funders' point of view, it's attractive, so that for every dollar that they invest, they actually get $8 realized. We are a low-cost, near-virtual model. We are a very small organization. You're looking at the IT department, the HR department, advertising, marketing, everything. So, you know, it's just basically myself. I have a board who's, thank God, pretty active and helpful most of the time. And so we also have some volunteers and interns to help us with this. So we are heavily reliant on IT, which is building up to why I'm here. So over the course of the 4 years that we've been around, we've come from offering 30 scholarships when we first started out in 2008. And last year we did over 600 scholarships worth $1.6 million. We also launched the first ever Fulbright Professional Scholarship in Nonprofit Leadership. sponsored by the Origin Foundation. So I would encourage you also, if there's anyone out there that is looking to do something like that, it is an opportunity to go to the U.S. for 4 months and do basically what you want to do, put together a proposal. So last year, we ramped up these scholarships, and at one of our offerings, we had almost 1,000 applications. So you can imagine, if we didn't have something in place, how we would have not gotten through that very efficiently with just one person and some volunteers. Okay, so turning back the clock a bit, so our challenges before we implemented this and started looking at a CRM solution, basically we were processing, we had scholarship offerings, we collected all of the data on a Word document, and then we would, basically on the assessment committee, we would email those documents around. We used Excel spreadsheets a lot and emailed things around, so you had these giant email loops that just drive me crazy. And you're never quite sure, who's done what on what document and where anything is at. So it was very frustrating. It was okay when you're only doing a few applications, but in that time when we had 100 applications, it really hit us like a bomb. So we were using a third-party vendor for email marketing campaigns. I was using MailChimp, and look, it was fine. It was relatively inexpensive, but again, it had different lists in different places, and again, all the data wasn't in one place, so it wasn't that efficient. So, it was a very, pretty labor-intensive way that we were operating. And we needed to track funding opportunities for scholarships and our own financial funding. Again, it was all done through spreadsheets, so not very efficient. So that's, we really wanted to scale up. I mean, the thought from the beginning when we first started was we really wanted to be a low-cost, near-virtual organization, powerfully using IT systems. So we had that vision from day one, and we knew that we wanted to scale up and offer over 600 or more scholarships every year, which we're doing now. So, and the other thing is just having a central repository. Some of the other speakers, Chris was talking about that, just having one spot to go to, no matter how big you are in the organization, you have one place to go to, and it's just great. You have all the data in one spot, and you can access it via mobile or whatever. And again, a way to track, potential funders and other relationships. It's been fantastic. So similarly, with an automated application processing system, we needed an integrated solution for that, for our CRM, to reduce that manual handling. So the tools that we use, we're working with our partner, which is Loaded Technologies here in North Sydney. They are the licensee for SugarCRM is the CRM that we are using. Sugar has, and I guess I've been using it now for about 18 months, and I'm pretty impressed with it. They have about 1 million customers worldwide, and I think they have about 700 customers in Australia. So they do have the scale there, and there was a lot of talk about open source, and the good thing about whatever, I'm not here, I don't work for Sugar. It's your own journey about which one you're going to choose, or if you're going to choose one. But I would say to go with one that does have a lot of users and a lot of people, potential developers that can work on it. So that was one of the reasons we chose that. Moodle, I love the names, Drupal, Moodle. If you're not a techie, which I'm not, I sort of see the solutions. I'm not into the technology part of it, but Moodle has anyone heard of Moodle here? Yeah, okay, so this is a pretty tech-savvy group. But a lot of universities use it, so it's for for assignment assessing, and it was perfect for what we were doing in terms of assessing our scholarship applications. So again, it's an open source, and we had it customized, and it's integrated into Sugar, so that we're able to assess our applications. And by the way, all of these slides will be available to you, so don't worry if you don't get it all, that's fine. They will be available through Connecting Up. And then Joomla that's our content management system that we use. You may have heard of Joomla. It's a free open source, and it's again, because it's so prevalent everywhere over the world, you can pretty much get anyone to work on it for you. So those are the 3 tools that we used. So this is a very detailed slide. I'll quickly go through it, but it's our journey, and I guess the main thing here is, and Andrew talked about this, is it's just don't get too overwhelmed with what you want to do. If you're at the very beginning like we were, and thinking about what we wanted to achieve, it just seemed huge. But we took it in stages. We first started talking about this almost 2 years ago. So, we basically started it slowly. We started with our Joomla website. We had paper applications at that time. Then we introduced Sugar, the CRM, and just started using Sugar to, basically for contact management. Still using our paper applications. Then we started leveraging Sugar, using it for email marketing campaigns, and and I actually really love it about that. As someone with a marketing background, I just love the fact that you can segment things and have different lists and write to different people. And as not-for-profits, we have a lot of different people that we need to stay in contact with, and we need to send them very different messages. So a CRM will allow you to do that, and I love that about that. So we started doing that. The next one up is integrating the applications, which is what we've done now. And I'll actually show you what it actually looks like on the site. And then calling it total integration. We're not quite there yet, but we're pretty much there. We've gone with, it's completely integrated now in terms of creating a profile through Sugar, our online application. We're in the process of moving everything over. We still are doing some paper-based applications, but eventually we'll be moving all of those over to online. And we're also doing the next phase we're working on right now is a complete database of every scholarship that's available to the not-for-profit sector in Australia, not just ASFs, but everything. So, and again, that's going to be where organizations can upload it themselves and edit it. So we've kind of covered that already. That's just a model. That's just one of the things that you can do about tracking funding. So this is kind of how it works. So starting down at the bottom left-hand side there, the scholarship setup is actually set up in Sugar. So we list all of our scholarships in Sugar as part of the, in the database. That pushes out to our website through Joomla. And then the applicant can select which scholarship they want and register. All their details go into Sugar. It creates a profile. Then they complete their online application. At that point, we can do scholarship assessment. We have assessment committee, and then we can contact people and write to people in different segments. So this is kind of hard to see, but basically that's what in Sugar what it looks like when we set up a scholarship. That one's the KPMG Mentor Program. So again, it's just it's basically just like a database that you put in information. Pushes it to the website. This is just a listing of the scholarships, and then you click on each one and you can get through to, so this is done through, this is on our website, this is through Joomla. And then you get into the online application. So we keep the branding and the themes all, consistent, even though we're using different applications all the way through, or 3 different ones. And then everything's, I'm a real advocate of just having everything automated as much as possible. We send an automated email that thank you for your application, and that's all built in. You can do all of that. This is what it looks like, and this is actually from Moodle, and this is after the assessment committee have assessed and you basically give scores to the applications, and then it'll rank them, and you can export it back to Sugar and write to the winners, etc. So this is just a campaign tracking, so email campaigns. This is something, we did some scholarships last year through the Australian Institute of Company Directors. We did some not-for-profit board courses. This is one where we had over 1,000 applications for just the one round. But it's great. You can really get some fantastic statistics if you really like to track, and you can see what's working for you in terms of your email marketing. And I love that part of it. You can play and see what works. So that's just a history of where we've come from. 30 scholarships worth about $400,000, and it was actually over 600,000 scholarships last year worth about $1.6 million. So, in 1 year alone, we had a 300% increase in the volume of scholarships, and we did not add any extra staff to do that. We would not have been able to do that without having a system like this in place. It wouldn't have been pretty, that's for sure. So the whole point of this is that we are able to significantly scale up whilst keeping a fairly low cost. And that's been our intention all along. So if we look at the results, so as I said, we had a 300% increase in scholarships. We actually had a 10 times efficiency improvement. So where we were able to process 100 applications, we were able to process 1,000 in sort of the same time period with the new system. Lower staffing, obviously, and again, keeping that cost low. And also a greater transparency into our own procedures, so we can have a look at how these applications were assessed. That's very important. Why did Murray think that this person got an 8 and somebody else thought he deserved a 2? So, and just being able to see that, it's all right there. So yeah, and I guess just to wrap up, in an ideal world, it's wonderful. I mean, the CRM can be a fantastic opportunity, and if everything goes well, and what is possible is very exciting. But there's also the reality of how is this going to work? How is it going to be implemented? Who's going to manage it? And just some tips, getting the buy-in. Obviously, I mean, we did some work on that in one of the networking sessions before, and really getting proper training, obviously, for everybody involved. The data migration can be a nightmare. For us, it was pretty easy because we were a little small organization, but if you have a lot of different databases in a larger organization, it can be tricky. And it still continues for, even in a little organization like us, we get a lot of duplicates and things, so we just have to constantly be maintaining and cleaning that all the time. But yeah, and I guess just from, one of the biggest hurdles for me was just to get on with it and just do it. And sometimes you just go, okay, let's just do it and let's go live. And, you just cross your fingers and hope that everything goes well. And luckily it has so far. So yeah, anyway, if you have any questions, I'm happy to talk to you more. And there's our details, and along with Loaded, who is our technology partner in this. So thank you for your attention.